should we get on to our topic then? Hopefully there's some of you here. Let's get on to our topic, why we shouldn't be aiming to stop our dog's reactivity. So that might seem a little bit odd for most of you here, because that's the reason you came here, is to to support or help, or to fix your dog's challenging reactive behavior. Just have a look at what we mean by reactivity, because this is a word that is used quite openly, quite frequently in the dog training community. Your dog is reactive. I have a reactive dog. So it's a label that we've given our dogs. It's a term that we use a lot in training and behavior. But what do we actually mean? Because any reaction to anything in the environment is quite normal. If somebody puts their hand up to me and I move back, that's a reaction. So reaction is just responding to something, some stimulus in your environment. It's just taking some kind of action and responding in some kind of way. So I think we need to unlabel our dogs and take this reactivity label off them, start to understand what it really means, and perhaps redefine that word or reframe it, as it were, because what I think we're really trying to mean by that is an overreaction. So it's something that is an exaggerated form of behavior in reaction to that specific thing that's in the environment, that's triggering them to feel whatever they're feeling. So it's more of an overreaction as opposed to being reactive. And it's uncomfortable for us because it's loud. It's often in the form of barking or lunging or growling, snapping. And these are loud behaviors. These are, uh, big emotions coming out of us. And we feel uncomfortable with that. We feel uncomfortable watching our dogs do it. We feel uncomfortable with, our dogs being that way in public environments. There's a lot of fear from our side underneath that. And so there is a lot of stigma around, that behavior. But really, we know, and we talk about this often in this group, behavior is simply a means of communicating how that animal is feeling. And just like we humans would do the same. If we're happy, we show our emotions in a happy way. If we're angry, we also show our emotions in an angry way. If we're frustrated and we want to feel that our words matter and that we matter. And so we have the same things. It's just an expression and a way of communicating how we're feeling underneath. And if we use the iceberg analogy, as it were, the overreactions, the shouting, barking, lunging, all of those things that we see is just the tip of the iceberg. It's like this is the end sort of symptom of what is really going on underneath. And underneath is that huge iceberg of so many different things. And it certainly represents emotions on a much broader scale. We often talk about our dogs being fearful when they're reactive or overreactive. And it's not necessarily just fear. Fear is certainly a big part of it. It could be a general anxiety because dog may have had some kind of trauma in their life, ongoing stress. So there could be underlying general anxiety. There could be frustration there. It could be real frustration because their person is not getting them or understanding them, or they can't seem to get, that communication path going with their person. It could be anger. It could be downright anger because they've been living with frustration for a long time. It could be pain and illness that's causing them to feel irritable and don't want people to come to them, don't want other dogs in their environment because they're uncomfortable, they're in pain. There could be so many things underneath there. So the behavior that we're seeing on the top, the overreaction, is simply the tip of the iceberg. And instead of us trying to stop that behavior, instead of us trying to put a lid on that behavior, what we really should be doing is saying, wow, this is information for us. This is information about what may be going on underneath. These are real clues. These are real clues for us to wake up and say, gosh, what's going on here? How can I get to understand what's going on for my dog so that I can support them better, in a better way, to feel more balanced and comfortable and calm and whatever it is we need, so that they don't have to shout, they don't have to overreact in situations like this. Let's look at this holistically. This is what we're seeing at the top of the iceberg. Let's investigate to find out what's going on for that individual dog. How can we change things for them, from the environment, from food, from having their needs met, all of those things. Let's look at a holistic picture to help support that dog to feel more comfortable in themselves. Don't aim to put a lid on it, because it's going to come out somewhere else if we just put a lid on those behaviors. We need to explore and help the dog to express themselves in a different way, help them to feel more comfortable. Another thing that I thought about is, we know these days, when there's a large amount of the population, so many people suffer from anxiety and depression. And we know these days that these are really, these are mental illnesses, as they termed, and they certainly issues that don't go away simply by, saying, snap out of it, get yourself out of it, get yourself up and into the world and go and be happy. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that. There's layers and layers, deep layers of experiences, all of that, that's got that person to where they are today. And they need time to help to slowly uncover these. And hence why I love grapefruit oil today, is it's slowly helping that individual to uncover, to bring up, to help them uncover those emotions, see what's causing all that distress and discomfort, and help them to come back to a place of balance, and where they feel supported, and where they feel heard and needed, and they feel that they have something to give to the world. And it's the same with our dogs. These symptoms of anxiety and depression is very often what we're seeing in overreactive behavior. And it's those symptoms that we need to take as information to help us to slowly uncover those layers for the dog, and help them to bring their emotions into balance, to bring their bodies into balance, and to feel a lot better about how they express themselves out in the world. Step into our dog's paws and see things through their eyes. Try to understand their perspective on the world, because we all have that individual perspective of the world and how we interact with our world. And we are like that through molding of so many things, through our genetics, through our experiences, through the people that we've met during our lives, through the experiences we've had in our lives, make us who we are, and how we perceive the world, and how we perceive different things in our environments. And it's exactly the same with the dogs. They have their own perspective on the world, due to all of those things that have come in because of who they are as individuals, and try to understand how they're perceiving the world, because it's when we can do that we step into a place of empathy, curiosity, and understanding. And all of a sudden, so many doors open, because dogs are suddenly feeling that they heard, that they understood, and they're feeling supported, as opposed to feeling frustrated or angry or anxious because somebody's trying to stop them from doing what they just think is a normal reaction to what's going on around them.